I'm Reggie Parker, and today we're doing some stretches in our back. Really focusing on the lower back. We're going to take it slow, and hopefully by the end of this, we'll be able to do some back bend poses. We're going to begin today's session in mountain pose. Legs spread apart, about shoulder width apart, and grounding ourselves for today's practice. Taking a moment to just ground ourselves. I'm outdoors today, so I'm drawing energy from the earth itself, from the sun. We're breathing in natural air. Preparing myself, spine upright, facing forward. For the shot, I'm just going to turn sideways to get better visibility of what I'm doing throughout this sequence. From mountain pose, I'm going into a chair pose. We're going to bend at the knees here. You want to get low enough that you can potentially graze your hands off of the ground. And from here, we're going to bring the arms up into an overhead stretch from this chair pose, keeping the feet shoulder width apart, straight back, and just taking a moment here to feel that stretch. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Just focusing on breathing and getting a big stretch. And we're going to come back up into mountain pose. And what I want you to do from here is bring your arms up into an upward salute, specifically for this pose. And we're going to inhale. And we're going to exhale, coming into a left side bend. Inhale back to center into our upright salute. Exhale back into a right side bend. Inhale back to center. And we're going to exhale back to mountain pose. From here, we're going to repeat this process about 3 more times. And we're exhaling down into the beginning part of my chair pose. Inhaling up into a salute, really feeling that stretch and keeping the hips low. Try to keep the knees from drifting to either side. You want to keep both knees near each other and straight. Exhaling back into my mountain pose. Exhale, leaning to the left for a side bend. Inhale back into an overhead pose. Exhale into a side bend to the right. Inhale back to center. And we're going to exhale back into a mountain pose. From here, starting to cycle again, knees bent, into a chair pose. Hands up, bring them overhead to complete the pose. For a modifier, as this can be tough on the shoulders and arms, you can bring your arms into prayer pose. For our asana today, looking to get more extension in the back, preparing for a back bend. Exhale back into mountain pose. Inhale up into an overhead stretch, and we're going to exhale, lean to the left. Inhale, going back to center. Take a moment here. Exhale, going back to the right. And we're going to inhale back to center. Exhale into mountain pose. From here, we're going back into chair pose, but I want to do a variation with a twist. And we're going to bend our knees back into the chair pose. And for our entry, there's two ways that we can get into this from here. It should be easier to bring your arms forward, like so, and then dropping down into this left side twist. For a more standard variation, we're coming in from your chair pose with hands at prayer, the left elbow coming outside of the right knee. And you'll have your head facing forward out into the distance like so. Just taking a moment here to breathe. Slowly, I'm going to exhale, come back to center, ending in mountain pose. I'm going to exhale back into the squat, into chair pose. Bring hands to heart center. This time twisting to the left, bringing the right elbow outside the left knee, looking into the distance. Inhale back into mountain pose. And once more, we're going to exhale back into a chair pose. And for a modification, you can bring the hands forward. You'll begin to turn, going into a right side twist. With the left elbow outside the right knee, like so. Inhaling back into mountain pose. Just a beat here. We're going to exhale back into chair. Into the twist variation. Inhale back into mountain pose. All right, and from here, we're going to go into a very standard forward fold. On the exhale, breathe out into our forward fold. And if you can, bring the palms flat. And if you can't, you can rest on your fingertips. You want your legs to be about shoulder width apart. Inhale into a half lift. Exhale back into our forward fold. Inhale into a half lift. Exhale into a forward fold. And from here, I'm going to inhale one more time into our mountain pose. And we'll begin the process again. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale back into mountain pose. And we're going to keep the back straight here. From here this time, we are going to move forward. We're going to exhale back into a forward fold. You'll then bring your hands to your elbows. Let your head hang loose here. We're going into a ragdoll pose. You should begin to feel the stretch. Move from side to side, sway a bit, and really get a stretch out in the lower back. You should feel comfortable here while getting a good stretch in the lower back. And we're simply going to drop our hands back into a forward fold. And inhale back into our mountain pose. Taking a second here, inhale, exhale, and then exhaling into a forward fold. And we're going to inhale into our ragdoll. And from here, whatever movement feels right to you. Exhale back into a forward fold. And once more, we're going to inhale into mountain. This time, we're going to exhale into a forward fold. And then we're going to inhale into a high lunge. And we're going to step our right foot back, like so. I like to put my hands onto my knees for stability. Getting extension in that right leg, focus on elongating the back, preparing ourselves for a back bend. And you can bring your hands to heart center. From heart center, you can bring your hands up into an overhead stretch, focusing on that back extension. You can tell here bugs are giving me a little bit of a problem. And you're going to exhale, bring your hands back down towards the ground. Walk the right foot up and inhale into a half lift. Exhale back into that forward fold. And now we're bringing the left foot back. And as a starting position for this variation, I'm going to bring hands to the right knee. And I'm working my way up into that overhead stretch, focusing on that back extension. Take a quick moment, just focus on breathing, centering yourself. I'm going to exhale, initially bringing the hands to the knees and working them to the floor as we walk our feet back up. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And we're going to inhale back into mountain. We're going to take a moment to shake the arms out just a little bit. Loosen up after that overhead stretch sequence. And on your time, we're going to center back into a mountain pose. And just once more, we're going to exhale back into that forward fold. And inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And bring your hands to the mat. Stepping the right foot back into a high lunge. Exhale, dropping the arms back down. Walking the foot up. Inhale, half lift. And exhale to a forward fold. And we're bringing this left foot back into a high lunge. Exhale, bringing the hands back to the mat. Bringing the foot forward. We're going to inhale, back in mountain pose, always coming back to center. All right, and this time we're going to exhale into my forward fold. Inhale into a half lift. Exhale into a ragdoll. From this ragdoll, I exhale again. Bring my hands into the mat. And I'm going to go into a low lunge this time. The right foot comes back until the right knee hits the ground. And again, for my variation, I'm putting my hands on my knees for stability. For an easier variation, you can keep your hands at heart center. I'm looking to bring my arms up into an overhead stretch as I'm doing this lunge. The arms come back down. Then exhale, walking my feet back up into my forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And then dropping into a ragdoll. Exhale, bringing the foot and knee down to the mat. The foot is flat on the mat. I'm starting with my hands on the knees. It's your choice whether you want to come to heart center or bring your hands up into a stretch for an easy back bend. And we still have a focus on the back. Make sure that extension is producing a stretch. From here, you're going to exhale, and you're going to work your way into child's pose. And we're just going to take a little bit of time here to just breathe and get a bit of a rest in this pose. And I'm going to do a 5 count with my breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Now we're going to work our way into a tabletop position. We'll now start a vinyasa. I want you to inhale, bring your feet back into a high plank. Exhale into low plank. You can inhale into cobra. For an easier modification, you can attempt a Sphinx pose. Now we're going to exhale into a downward facing dog. Ideally, you've got your feet flat to the mat. I do understand that can be difficult. Feel free to continue to stand on your toes. You can even get a bend in your knees for modification to make things easier. And we're just going to inhale, bring ourselves right back into child's pose. And if you're starting to feel any fatigue from this child's pose, you can do a modification where you bring your hands back flat on the mat. This is an acceptable modification for this pose. Once more, we're going to inhale and bring ourselves back into a tabletop pose. We're going to exhale into a high plank. We're going to drop into a low plank and inhale into a cobra pose or a Sphinx, whichever modification that you prefer. Exhale into a downward facing dog. Once more, we will exhale and go into a child's pose. Now we're going to switch things up just a little bit. And we're going to inhale back into a tabletop pose. Now you can inhale into a high plank position. From this position, we're going to transition our way into a side plank. And what you do is bring your right arm up. Exhale back into the high plank position. Now we will drop back into our low plank. Inhale into cobra pose. Exhale into downward facing dog. Because of difficulty, we're going to drop into a child's pose and burn the arms out just a little bit. So I'm going to do the variation with my hands to my side, like so. I'm just breathing here for a moment as we get a slight rest for the arms in between these poses. And we're coming back up into tabletop. Now we'll inhale and go into a high plank. And from this high plank position, now go into a side plank. Exhale, bring the arm back down into a high plank. We're going to drop into our low plank. Ultimately, inhale into a cobra. Exhale into downward facing dog. From here, I'm just going to inhale. I want you to just slowly work your way up into a kneeling position, just like this. Once more, we're going to inhale, bring our hands up into an overhead stretch. With a focus on our back, you'll notice there's a slight bend here as we prepare for a mild back bend. Exhale, hands to the knees. From this position, I want you to make your way to your back. And we're starting in Savasana, in corpse pose. And we'll transition into a knees to chest pose. From here, you can keep your hands on your knees or bring them to your ankles if you're looking for a deeper stretch. Now I'm going to switch my grip to bring myself into a variation of the happy baby pose. And I want you to just rock back and forth a little bit to feel for that. Feel free to sway left and right, just stretching out and feeling comfortable. Now you can switch your grip back to a hands on knee position, extending the stretch before we transition back into corpse pose. Continue to focus on breathing here. Taking a moment here to just give yourself a slight rest. And just one more time, we're going to bring our knees to chest. Feel free to sway, move around in this pose as well. Once more, I'm switching the grip, going into a happy baby pose. You can grab your own ankles, you can grab your feet. Whatever your comfort level, continue to focus on this back stretch. Then you'll bring your hands back to your knees or ankles so you can continue in this knees to chest stretch. We're going to drop the legs once more, bringing ourselves back into corpse pose. Picking things up, we're going to attempt a back bridge here, just a variation of a wheel pose. From here, you're going to bring your heels close to your butt, and you want your feet to be about, and you're going to bring your hands back behind you. Actually, just a moment. Before we go right into the wheel pose, we're going to use the same setup with our feet close to the buttocks. We're going to bring our hands down to the side. And we're going to do a bridge. So inhale up into a bridge. Exhale and slowly bring your body back down to the floor. Inhale up into a bridge once more. Exhale and bring your body down once again. Inhale up into a bridge and exhale down to the mat. Bringing you flat to the mat once more. Inhale, bringing the knees to the chest. Once more, switching your grip into a happy baby's pose. Again, feel free to move your body around. Movements, whichever feels right to you. Bringing your knees to chest. And then we're going to transition right back into corpse pose. We're going to bring your feet back close to your butt once more. And the hands to the side. Inhale up to a bridge pose. Exhale, bring your body back down. Inhale up into bridge pose. Exhale, bring yourself back down. Inhale up into a bridge. And exhale, down. Now once more, you go flat into a corpse pose. And inhale, knees to chest. Now you can switch your grip back into happy baby's pose. Great work. You should feel pretty loose right now from the legs and then the spine. Now exhale, bringing the knees to the chest. Now dropping back into corpse pose. As we just said, from here you should be feeling pretty loosened up. Once more, we're going to bring our feet to the buttocks, about shoulder length apart. And we're going to bring our arms flat towards the back of your mat, like so, and your hands will be about shoulder length apart. You don't want your elbows too far apart. You want them tight, closer to the body. Ideally, you want your hands to be flat. If you're unable to get your hands flat, then you're probably not quite ready for this one. I recommend just coming up to your head while still supporting. If you feel comfortable, you can go into wheel pose here, but I'm doing a back bridge variation. Now you're going to inhale, bring your body up, and get extension with your arms. As both a wheel pose and a back bridge can be tough, if holding that position feels difficult, feel free to rest on your head. Of course, be careful to support your neck. Slowly, you're going to bring yourself down, going shoulders first to make sure you're getting a good landing, not putting too much pressure on the neck. We're going to exhale back into sort of our starting position. I noticed throughout this workout that I hadn't anticipated all of the upper body strength that I was going to use. So what I end up doing here is coming back, bringing my hands towards my feet. Let's go into a simple bridge from here. And then I inhale and go into a bridge. Exhale, bring your body back to the mat. Inhale back into a bridge. Exhale, bringing yourself back down. Inhale into a bridge. Exhale, bring yourself back to the mat. Once more, I'm going into a bridge, trying to get extension with the arms in a wheel-like modification. And inhale up into the back bridge with extension. Now slowly, we're going to exhale, bring our shoulders to the mat, and bring ourselves back down. Good work getting through that pose. What I want you to do now is just take your time, bring yourself to an easy seated position. As noted, coming into an easy seated pose. If you're a little bit more experienced, that can be a lotus position. And because of all the back bends, we're going to take a little bit of time here to stretch. And from here, we'll bring our hands up into an overhead stretch. We're going to clasp our hands together at the top, and we're going to go right into a side bend from here. On an exhale. Side bend to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. We'll take a moment here just to breathe while sitting upright. Feel free to loosen out the neck, move your head around if that feels right to you. And to continue this cool down from this seated position, we'll do just a few seated cat-cows. And this will be our cool down. And we're going to exhale and tuck the chin to the chest. Taking just a moment. Inhale, head up to a cow, trying to open up the chest. Inhale to the cow position. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And we're going to end today in Shavasana. Great work. This is a difficult pose. And exhale, we're going to lay down in the Shavasana into our corpse pose. Since I am outdoors, I really do get to feel the ground, draw energy from the earth. Breathing in fresh, natural air, feeling the sun on my skin. I'm just glad to take time out here in nature. Give it up to yourself for hitting your mat today. And just remember that you're working at your own pace. It's your own body. Use the modifications as needed, taking time for yourself. One thing I wanted to note that you do want to be careful when engaging in back bends or inversions. Feel yourself getting lightheaded or anything feels uncomfortable, you can always stop or find a different modification. Drink plenty of water, and we're going to take our time in this pose just to breathe. Focus on your breath. Great work today on the mat, and we're just going to inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Work your way up into an easy seated position. Hands to heart center. Thank you for taking some time with me today. Thankful to work on your practice. Thankful that you can get out and continue your yoga journey. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. Hope you relax and have a great day.